Welcome to HBO Lax. This is Lizzy Pace.
And this is Katherine Dudas.
And we are the two foremost TV film pop culture experts. We are recapping White Lotus Season 2, Episode 4. I just found out that there are only 7 episodes, unlike the 10 I had previously thought. So last week we were like, Episode 3 felt more like a 7, so I guess it felt more like a 4.
I know. I was like, this pacing makes a lot more sense.
Yes, definitely.
Because I realized
this episode,
I was like, it was so hard not to talk to Lizzy about it when we were just jumping on the Zoom because I want to say so much.
We had a problem.
I was like, wait. Okay, gotta wait. Guys, I feel very blue-balled, unlike our hero Aldi. I feel blue-balled because I'm like, I want the next episode so bad. Like, I need to know. I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, I need her.
I know. They always feel so short. I think because it is one day.
I know.
And they're like, Palermo's tomorrow. And I'm like, what's in Palermo? That guy said people were fucking in the streets.
We can only hope. Guys, it was so hard picking a horniest moment. Oh, my God. It was amazing. I mean, this was the female gaze, baby. This was, we had a lot of gays in this episode and a lot of female gays. You know, you get it? Oh, my gosh, I'm hilarious.
High quality stuff right there.
Before we dive in, though, I want to thank everyone who has written a review on the Apple's iTunes podcast. That there are many nice things that people have said, and I've decided to read an episode that I like, and that makes me happy. So from Scramble Beast 3000. I love this pod. Loving this hot tea podcast from the 2-4. Wait, is it actually?
Oh no, I don't think she knows how to do that.
I was like, that would be amazing. I'm still gonna read it regardless. But Scramble Beast 3000. Loving this hot tea podcast from the 2 foremost pop culture experts of the world. I look forward to it every Monday night after a long, mind-numbing day on the job. Thank you and good job, Pace, Case, and Katherine. Thank you so much. I'm gonna be so happy to read that. Good job.
Oh, so I know lovely.
we need.
Wow.
I love that. That's like heroin to us. So thank you, and thank you for because I think Lizzy and I are both scared to look at any sort of reviews. So
it's tough for me.
Sometimes it's so tough for me. So I took the plunge, looked at the reviews, and they're mostly so wonderful. And so thank you to everyone who's written.
Mostly so wonderful.
There's no podcast Katherine, where it's all 10 out of 10.
Oh man.
There's no podcast out there you could get.
Don't go in there.
Guys, it's fine because every art is subjective, and God bless anyone who presses play. And so thank you very much. I appreciate you listening.
God bless anyone who presses play. Our new podcast motto.
I think it's great, and I'm so happy. We have our little TV book club, and let's begin Season 2, Episode 4.
That was very yoga with
this
Adrian
hand.
that you just did.
I know I'm doing all like
hand
prayer
gesture.
hands.
I like that. We should do that every time.
In the sandbox.
In the sandbox. Oh my God. Yeah. What's the sandbox?
I know.
Ooh,
very sexy.
It. Promo. We see we're going to hit that Tanya meltdown. We're seeing Harper, Daphne, hijinks, and Noto. We're seeing Tanya needs Portia without Greg. We're seeing Valentina is taking on men. We're seeing Portia eyeing this pool boy. We're seeing Cameron and Ethan's big night out with the sex workers, Lucia and Mia. And we're starting every episode of this vacation, the pool people setting up these towels and raising the umbrellas. I like it. It's like this.
It
gives this odd feeling of like a vacation there for a few days is like nice, but then if you're there every day and you see how the whole process works,
oh my God,
it takes on this other feeling.
You see how it totally does. It's seeing how the sausage gets made. Like, yeah, there's something eerie about a perpetual vacation, being at a vacation, even like working there, like a perpetual vacation vibe. I would get so, if I worked at a place like this, I would get very annoyed very fast. Mostly because I've worked as a hostess in like really nice restaurants, and there's just something about it where you're just like, oh, you're just like, I have to stand here in heels and watch these people drink and have fun. You feel really left out. You feel really left out when you're
that sounds so sad.
This is why I.
Oh my God, maybe Tanya was right. Women are not fun. That was quite a line. We'll get to it.
I was obsessed. So
I'm sorry, Katherine.
No, that was funny. Anyway, so we cut.
I've been in dehumanizing jobs as well.
Oh no, yeah, we've all. It's horrible. Beautiful overhead shot of the whole hotel, and then we wake up, and then we cut to Cameron in bed with Lucia and Mia.
The way he wakes them up, he goes wakey wakey.
I know. And then we see Ethan sleeping, and then he's getting a call from his lovely wife, and he picks up, and she immediately is like, "You don't sleep this late," which is true. And he says that they drank all day.
She doesn't miss a second.
She does not. I love her so much. Yeah, he's like, Cameron wanted to drink. I drank too much. And she tells him that she has been abducted, that she fully planned to spend the night here. And yeah, it was a done deal when they got there.
And we cut back to Cameron. He pulls cash out of pockets of pants that are on the floor. I loved that. He says, $1,800, that's all I got right now. So he can't even pay Lucia and Mia their fare.
My question is, how much more do you think he owes? What are we thinking?
Well, Dom paid them $3,000.
Oh, you're right, he did.
I don't know if that's like her
and also
rate
the drugs too. So yeah, maybe it's really like a $4,000 with two guys, $4,000, $5,000. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope he gets. Yeah, he says something about he'll leave the envelope at the front desk. And then
front desk, you know that can't go well.
And she's like, "Good idea."
I feel like that was like a loaded gun.
It was. I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. Yeah. So Lucia, I thought it was interesting because I was like, is she gonna push back against him leaving at the desk? I think she's just like, whatever. At that point. And yeah, thanks for fun, he says. And the girls go lie down somewhere.
We see Valentina pass them and roast them fresh as a couple roses as they're like funny. Walking barefooted through the hotel. And we see Rocco is flirting with Isabella again, and Valentina basically calls Rocco away and then asks Isabella if Rocco was making her uncomfortable, and she says men can be intrusive and even aggressive. It's not good here at work or elsewhere. If you're ever in trouble, come to me. And I'm starting to get this sinking feeling that we're going to see basically the female version of what we saw in season 1.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, the manager is, like, hitting on the underling.
Yes. Here. I didn't even think. I definitely agree. And I totally forgot about that parallel with last season. You're so right. Yeah, because this was. I had a
hope
sense
not,
last
but, like,
episode
after that
she
kitten
was
moment.
Yeah, it. After that kitten moment, I had a sense. Yeah, last episode I was like, Valentina's definitely into Isabella, and now this episode you're like, well, okay, yeah, she's in love with her. But it made me so sad, honestly. Like I like it was. So, there were so many moments this episode. I covered my face more than a House of the Dragon episode with gore and stuff. Like like I was like, oh my god, there's so. I'll tell you the moments when I covered
your cringe moment.
My face. Like,
I'll tell you the moments. Dom comes up. He says he wants to buy a present for his wife who couldn't make it, and Isabella recommends this store called Pancrazzi for jewelry. Valentina's impressed by this, and we cut to that glorious morning brunch, which it just gets less appetizing by the episode.
It's a very good point.
And we see Portia makes an excuse to talk to Albie at the food station. And she's like, sorry about last night. Let's definitely hang today. I have to get out of the babysitting. It's been a lot. maybe we'll do something after breakfast.
Yeah. Yes. And then she goes back to her boss and says a very interesting little monologue about how she just kept going. She asked her for time off because he's nice and he's smart. He went to Stanford and he's not non-binary. Which I was like,
that was a strange line.
I had a very I was like, well, I was not expecting that. And she says something about like she won what was it? She won the lottery.
I feel like if I won the lottery, I'd throw away the ticket and I should give Albie a chance. Like that she fucks up good situations. What is the non-binary comment though? This seems like unnecessarily like offensive.
I was thinking about that. I was like, was it offensive? I was like,
I just feel like they keep giving Portia these like paragraphs that are like pontificating on Gen Z like themes.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And they're strange to me.
They are strange. It's definitely it's interesting.
This moment though, Tanya like looks at her and I took a picture of her face at this moment because it was so fucking crazy. I guess she's dissociating again. We're supposed to assume she's just crumbling. And she says, I don't know what's going on with Greg, but I think it's bullshit. As if Portia has just been humming to herself as opposed to
laughed out loud. And my mouth was open. I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, that is so. And then that made me think, I'm like, okay, so is she. It made me really wonder about her, about Tanya. I'm like, does she just like, what was that? Was that her intentionally being a dick? Or is her brain just like,
I don't know.
She just spaced out? Or she just is used to people not calling her out on stuff or like ignoring them?
I think it might be both somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, all of her behavior seems very much like a woman who is drinking on pills.
Yes.
So right. I'm like, I don't know.
It does. That's what's confusing with her character. Cause I'm like, yeah, how much is this your genuine being and how much is, you've just, haven't been.
I feel like it is a person who is like so self-involved. That they just like use people or whatever, but also that she's medically not there.
I can see that. Yeah. A mix of that. Like
That's my theory.
I think that's probably right. Because she's a very entitled, like she grew up super entitled.
I love when they have the characters are kind of gray and you're like,
yes,
what is going on here? We see a cut to a cheating head too.
Yes,
a lot of cheating heads this episode.
Yes.
And they pass this group of men who we saw eyeing them at the bar the other night. And this guy's like, you have impeccable style. Finally, a glamorous woman in Taormina. All women here are dressed for a funeral on the beach. Join us for breakfast? Or they're like, we just ate. And they're like, okay, come to the beach club later. We have these great seats. We live in Palermo and have friends staying in the hotel. Come see our boat. And Tanya's like, those guys are nice. Just, I feel like it's just Tanya going from one situation in which she's been bamboozled to another.
Yes.
I do not trust this group of men.
I could not get a read on it. I was like, what is the ulterior motive? There has to be one. This whole episode, I was like, what is the thing? There has to be. So I'm really curious to know what that will be. I also love Portia in the scene. She just takes out her phone and just starts looking at it. And I'm like, this is the impeccable direction of Mr. Mike White.
That's very real.
I fucking love that. It just makes me so happy. There's so many things about this episode that makes me just admire Mike White even more. And I love him so much. Also the transitions too. That's what the transitions are getting even better. Like the little, like we had one where it was the water and it goes into the sky like really seamlessly. It was beautiful. Anyway, we have after a beautiful transition, we have Lucia and Mia by the pool, and Lucia is closing her eyes, and she feels like shit. She's holding the towel over her, saying she can't.
Oh, I wrote Godson over water about that transition.
Exactly. Like, completely. That's a perfect description. They're all so beautiful, this episode especially. Lucia is basically having a, like, I don't know, spiritual reckoning with being a sex worker. She's saying she's a bad influence. I dragged you into my shame. Like, she is having a come to Jesus or Catholic guilt moment. More. I was like, yeah, I relate to this. All whores are punished in the end is a line she says. But Mia, I was so glad. I was like,
that's
Mia,
intense.
so intense. Mia was like, no,
all whores are punished in the end is not a vibe we've gotten from Lucia so far. So I'm very confused.
Okay, Lizzy, I was so excited to talk about this complete character change in Lucia this episode, and I don't really know what the catalyst was for it, which I think, right? There wasn't anything in the episode.
I feel like it would have made sense if, like, Mia came up to her and was like, I slept with Giuseppe, the piano man, or something, and Lucia had been like, oh shit, I, like, dragged her into this.
Right.
But nothing had. I mean, I guess they're like sleeping under towels. That's supposed to be like the low moment.
Yeah, maybe. I was because I was two ways about it. I was like, is this an undeserved shift, or is this just kind of a very realistic? Like, sometimes you just wake up and you're just like, oh, I feel weird, you know? Like, that does just happen sometimes. And maybe she's swung like this before in her past. I don't know.
And they did Molly last night.
Yeah.
Most importantly.
Oh.
That is where this is coming from. I totally forgot.
Wait, you're right,
It's
Lizzy.
coming down.
You're right. Lizzy, you're right. And Mia even says you're on drugs. Okay, that makes, and never mind, there is an,
yes.
She literally says, anyway. And Mia is saying that having sex and knowing exactly what you're going to get from it is not so bad. Lucia's like, wait, no, don't, no. And Lucia's feeling the shame, everyone knows, and Mia's like, you're being a Virgin Mary. And then we see Albie and Nono up on the staircase balcony thing. And, you know, the grandpa's being like, come on, eat with me. Albie's like, I just ate. Bert and Albie leave, and then Lucia and Mia head off because they have a key to Bert's room. So
I looked this up because I was like, wait, how do they have a key? And then I was just like, I thought about letting it go, and then I looked. But it was
because you are the foremost
that they both had to be
expert.
registered to different rooms.
Oh, yes. No,
earlier they like clarified that with Valentina, but
ladies and gentlemen, this is the
at
kind
first I
of
was like, wait, what the
first-class podcasting you're getting from HBO Lax. We do,
yes.
And by we I mean Lizzy will stop and look up things when we're not
I tried
sure.
really hard to find a particular dress as well. When we get to it, I'll let you know what it was.
Amazing. Next scene, Cameron enters Ethan's room, lays on the bed. This was almost my horniest moment of this whole scene. Very horny.
What on earth?
Okay, yes.
I loved it.
This was very hot. And
yeah, Cameron's just like, he doesn't even have a shirt on.
Doesn't have a shirt on.
Ethan's just in little shorts.
This is what I'm saying.
And
this
then
is
they
the
were
female
like,
gaze.
I want to be inside you.
Oh, I was like, are you reading my secret diary? I wish. And then,
Sir?
Cameron was like, oh,
get out of Catherine's diary.
Get out of my diary. And Cameron's like, he asks him for the bro code, which is important. I was thinking about this after the episode.
This was going to be my misogyniest moment of the week.
Yeah.
Until something else happened.
Yeah. That's he's like, bro code, and then he's like, yes, I love you. I want to do stuff to you. So hot. I want to make you feel good. And then Ethan goes and throws up, and we do see it.
Bro code is killing Ethan already.
Exactly. It's a real just pretty obvious.
And we get the cheating head, again, emphasis on the affair.
The affair. The affair.
Then
Yes.
we cut to the grounds at Noto. That Renaissance ceiling that is just... They make such good use of it in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like all throughout the credits. It is just so pretty.
Beautiful.
Daphne says, I was really high last night. I said a couple things I hope stay between us. Harper's like, you didn't say anything. And Daphne's like, I have trouble keeping girlfriends sometimes. You know how girls are. Pretend to be your friend, then want something, then talk shit and stab you in the back. Is this your experience with
I've never experienced
with most women, Katherine?
I was literally I exactly thought about this. I was like, I don't think that's ever happened to me. And I'm sure that it happens, but I maybe once or like, I don't know, of the like
maybe in like high school.
Maybe there was one
something.
girl. Yes, there was like one girl, but like something like that was like what kind of a bad egg thing.
The majority of women. This is lunacy.
An interesting take. And as much as Mike White did write and direct this one, right? I'm not crazy. Yes. So this scene, as much as we're Mike White stands on this podcast, but that comment is very much kind of a guy writing for women, I think, because I'm like, I don't think even girls who have trouble with female friendships, I don't think you could. Okay, but then on the other hand, this is a line very indicative of her character. I think maybe that's really what this line is showing, because honestly, the problem is probably her, not to be. The problem's her, but the problem's her. Like, honestly, if a girl is saying that all women are backstabbers, the problem is not all women. It is the woman saying it. Unless she just had crazy bad luck. But literally 98% of the female friends in my life have been wonderful and supportive and like the best people I know. So I think there's a great Lena Dunham quote about this, but for another time. She really sums up my feelings about female friendships well. Yes, so this was interesting. Also I wanted to say, Lizzy, have you ever, I feel like when I'm high, I definitely over talk when I'm high.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's bullshit. I think she's like manipulating her.
Oh, yes.
I feel like she and Cameron are both kind of doing this weird, like, manipulative thing to get them apart from their partner. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's like, you need to lie to Ethan, and he's like, you need to lie to Harper.
Oh, interesting. No, I think that's that's definitely what they're doing. Or like, yeah. Wow.
I just don't trust anyone on this show.
No,
I guess I'm just like so suspicious.
Yes, I think maybe they're not intentionally, but they're definitely like doing that. Maybe they're not like planning it, but like they are. The polar opposites of these couples is, as we knew was going to happen, is creating really interesting situations. And I think like as much as Daphne and Cameron are a challenge for Ethan and Harper. This couple's each other's kryptonite in a weird way, you know? Because I think Daphne does sense that there is more of an authenticity, more of a. Who knows? I don't know. I guess we haven't really seen anything that shows that Harper and Ethan have more Well, they do have more authenticity. It doesn't mean they're necessarily happy, but they do have like at least less. They don't like Ethan and Harper are not fake with each other. Whereas Daphne and Cameron
they don't seem
kind of fake with each other. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully, guys, I edit this, so hopefully I don't listen back to that and be like, oh no, I have to cut this whole part out. Because sometimes that happens. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Katherine.
That gets better with time. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm a baby podcaster. So anyway,
we cut to Bert's room, and we see these Renaissance eyes on a plate, and we see Lucia crosses herself and hurries Mia out. In the hallway, we see Bert and Albie approaching. Albie's like, Portia said she's going to the beach, and Bert's like, we could come. And Albie's like, I think a day by myself. We'll play it by ear. And they go in their rooms. And Bert walks in on Mia and Lucia changing. And they run out and they're like, I'm sorry, I thought this was our room. This is very like farcical that they're like going from like room to room. They've now been in like 4 of the rooms.
It's so great. I love that also they're hitting every guy in this family, which I really love. That's perfect. We have Tanya and Portia walking into the beach club. Tanya's like, that is the weirdest voice I've ever heard. I laughed out loud when she said that about that guy. I feel like that must have been improv.
Yeah.
That feels like improv.
I do too. It doesn't
I'm like, that's hilarious.
Oh my God,
So
I think you're
random.
right. Because it doesn't have anything to do with anything else that
And it
happens.
just like came out of her. They are greeted by their new friend, and she asks for some rosé. Mateo, I think, goes gets it for her, and she is introduced to the other guys there for the weekend. There's a French guy. She's like, "Oh, you're French."
The French
A
guy.
French guy.
Do you recognize him? He's on Emily in Paris.
Oh, no, I actually don't watch Emily in Paris. I thought for a second he was the guy.
Are you serious?
I know. Yes. I am serious.
I love it.
Oh, I've never, my friend.
I did Punch Up for season
Oh, yes.
2.
Yes, my friend was in the running to be her, the lead. I don't know if I'm allowed to
Emily?
say that. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think she was like the final 2, so I'm like, should have gone to my friend, but I'm sure she does a lovely job. Anyway,
You're not watching for solidarity.
I'm
That's
more
nice.
just like, I saw the trailer and I was like, I don't know if this is my thing, but I don't know. I haven't seen
fun.
it. I'm sure it is.
But that guy is hilarious in it. He plays like her coworker, and he's like always doing bizarre things.
Oh, I love that.
But they tell Portia and Tanya he has an estate in Paris. You got to see it before it crumbles. And he's like, it's a masterpiece, but it ruined my life. And Tanya's like, I hear ya. Oh, rich people. This was my eat the rich moment of the week.
That is really funny. Yeah.
Just this whole conversation and being like,
That's a good one.
name dropping like vacation places, and his estate is crumbling. Poor guy.
It is wild. It really, it is crazy. I feel like I forget less and less how freaking rich Tanya is, and how, that really probably has really contributed to her worldview. Jack, we meet sexy Jack. Comes up, the nephew.
His naughty nephew.
And he does like interesting small talk with Portia about the pool. And then
he's still thinking about his freezing nips, complaining about the pool not being
heated.
heated.
Think about his freezing nips too. Alvy, we got to Alvy.
Proposal. We're still seeking proposals for Katherine.
Yes, yeah,
even though it's not House of the Dragon, it continues on.
It continues. Handwritten.
Nipple man.
Nipple man.
Nipple Jack.
We have Albie walking into the beach club. He is sitting on the chair. This was this was a hand over face moment. This whole thing with Albie just staked out and watching Portia totally vibe with sexy Jack. And that hurt me. So we cut to some little getting to know talk between Jack and Portia about, I've never been to America, and it's all right if you don't mind. Oh, the Palermo, if you don't mind if you don't mind gays grabbing your arse and copping a feel. Yars.
This sounded a little dark.
It was to
me.
100%. I was like,
you're being sexually harassed by all of your uncle's friends.
I was like,
sir?
This is sexual harassment. But I guess he's putting up with it, and he's like, yeah, some of them are really fucking strong, and it's like, oh God, okay, that is very dark.
Oh God.
And the old women they invite are just old rich hags, shade thrown at her boss.
But he didn't come to Sicily to have tea with old ladies. No. And Portia says, I was hoping I'd have more of an adventure here. It's been soul crushing.
And he's like, wow. And if you want an adventure...
Do you think anything that Tanya has done to Portia is that bad?
No. Well, okay. I think if you're being paid to go on a trip, that's an interesting point to raise. She's being paid, and her job is to literally just like hang around a resort. It seems like a good deal to me. I will say, like bare minimum, you get to like just hang out in Sicily, and like she had to stay in her room a lot, but like you're getting paid to stay in her room.
Yeah, I guess like
Again,
talk
if you're
to her
being
about her
paid,
emotions.
that's true. Look, I'm not saying I would
I think
love.
that's the hard part.
I would not love this job, but as someone who's worked shitty jobs, this is not that shitty. This could be shittier.
I agree.
Because I'm like, if she wasn't being paid, then yes. Anyway.
Nipple Jack says that if she wants an adventure, she should stick with him. He knows how to have fun in a sandbox, if you know what I mean.
And she's like, no, I don't.
What does he mean?
I'm assuming I thought maybe a sexual innuendo, like he knows how to play in her vagina.
Like a box.
Like a box.
Thank you.
You know? That's all I got.
Okay. I agree. My only theory. Oh my God.
Job.
We see Albie sadly reading his book at the pool while she is getting talked to about sandboxes. And we see this guy, Quentin, the lead man in this group, tells the story about this island. Oh, that's Isola Bella. There's a story there. The house was owned by a wealthy Swedish matriarch, and local investors wanted it and basically killed her. And I'm like, what? A rich woman is thrown into the rocks at that island?
Okay, so is this our red
I feel
herring?
like Tanya's absolutely going to die,
So
right?
this is the thing. That was my first thought, and now my second thought is it a red herring? Is Mike White trying to lead us to thinking that Tanya is going to die? So then it's like a magic, it's like a switcheroo.
I think we're led to believe all of them are going to die because, like, the sex workers are all also, like, bad things happen to whores.
That's true. I didn't catch that.
I don't know.
You're right. This is
Tanya.
a good actor. I like this guy.
Oh, my God. This was so funny. Tanya tells him that she came with her husband, but he left. And he's like, left you alone in Sicily? Tell me everything from the beginning. And she goes, so I was born in San Francisco. And he's like, oh, very beginning. Okay. I laughed so hard.
I was like, wow. One, like, this guy's listening. What a beautiful listener this guy is. Because if someone started with, if she started with that, I'd be like, okay, I need 5 more drinks and let's do it. Because we love it. We love to listen. But wow, I'm like, I would be scared. We cut to our girls getting out of the car. And honestly, yes.
This is the dress.
Oh,
This is the dress that Harper is wearing, and it was so pretty.
Oh, it's so pretty.
I took a picture, and then I looked it up. This one.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. Did you find it?
And, well, I found, like, an article about the dress, and it says that Harper returns the next day to a hungover Ethan in a beachy bohemian floaty dress appropriately by Poupette St. Barth, a company, and I went to their website. They don't have this dress. Maybe they will later. They should make it. But also, their dresses are super expensive.
I was going to ask, what is the price point on that website?
They're like $400.
But it is beautiful. I admire and respect your hunt because it was really beautiful.
You.
And it would look amazing on you. Yeah, this was actually,
I agree.
This was my Eat the Rich moment. Well, my Eat the Rich moment was Daphne buying her the dress because I was like, God damn it, I would love to buy my friend a $400 dress. And I like, that's so fun.
Eat the rich.
Eat the rich. I wish I was you. Also, them
all
the
be able
people
to buy our friends dresses like that.
Yes. And then, oh my gosh, we have this next scene with Ethan staring off into the distance. The most beautiful light on Ethan this whole scene. By the way, this morning glow. He looks hotter than usual, honestly, in the scene is what I took note of. And that's my job. I gotta take note. Harper comes in and kisses him, and
thank you.
She sits on the couch and she's like, "Oh, I'm so happy to be back." He continues to look tousled and hot. He says, "Nice dress." She says, "Daphne bought it for me," and they didn't clean the room. Important information. Yeah, I was still in my bed with the maid. This was important information. How'd it go? And then Daphne, Harper's like, "It's what we thought. It's a front. The whole thing. We win." She was like, "We win." win. We are the winning couple. Is this whole? It's basically what Harper does in this. Scene.
Yes, that was a very good summary.
Yes,
she's basically like, he cheats on her, and I think she does it too. It's a twisted relationship. We're fine compared to them. And he's like, I'm happy to see you. And she's like, she starts questioning. She's just an interrogator. She's like, you got drunk? And he's like, jet skiing was fun. Harper's like, she has no female friends. I'm basically her best friend, and I barely know her. Ethan says, why? And Harper says, she realized they were all talking shit behind her back. And he's like you are now. And then she says she tripped down this wormhole on this edible, and that Daphne thinks everybody wants to be like her. And I'm like, Harper's really going down this.
She is. Harper has some
long thing about Daphne.
Yes, Harper has some deep insecurities that are coming up. And I wonder, I really wanted Harper to respond to the Daphne line about the friendship. I wanted to know what Harper's view on female friendships were, because I'm like, I wonder, I'm curious. I'm like, what is her vibe with female friendships? Because Harper was immediately suspicious of Daphne, immediately. And I think someone who probably is good at female friendships, because I don't think Harper is, what I'm getting at is I don't think Harper is probably good at female friendships either. Just because if you are, I feel like when you meet someone like Daphne, you're like, hey, you give her a chance. You're just like, let's talk and see what's up. But she never really did that.
Harper seems very suspicious of everyone all the time.
Exactly. And she finds a fucking condom wrapper in the couch.
Wow, so sloppy.
So sloppy. And this spirals her for the rest of the episode. She's in a catatonic state. Ethan comes back out being like, oh, do you want to do something just us? Do you want to whatever? And she just, she's just staring off into the distance. Lizzy, this whole episode, I was like, you're not just going to bring it up? But I guess, and we can talk more about this, but I think by the end of the episode, I was like, okay, so she's just like really seeing if he's going to she's testing him. She's really seeing if he's going to lie to her, if he's going to keep lying to her. So she puts the wrapper in her makeup bag. We have another beautiful transition with this. Oh, this is the transition with the water and into the sky, which is beautiful. Good job, Mr. White. Lucia and Mia walk into the beach club. They see Albie. They sit down. He's like, no, someone's coming. I'm waiting for my friend.
Oh, God.
Another moment.
I'm trying to hold this shit.
It's awful. And then we cut to Luke and Portia talking about Palermo and how they party in the street, and they fight in the street, and they fuck in the street, and and is the villa crazy? Yeah. And Albie comes up. Another moment where I'm just like, hands, face.
Albie coming up and telling Portia that he saved her a chair by the pool while she's talking to Nipple Jack was my cringiest moment of the episode.
It was also my cringiest moment. I was
face
painful.
in hands completely.
I was screaming. Did not like this. Oh my gosh, Portia is and then Jack is like, I think he likes you. Oh, justice for Albie, which he does get. Albie does get justice, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Which is lovely.
Oh, yes, he does.
Yes.
We see Dom ignored Albie's wishes and tells him that they got a table. Portia tells Albie she's going to find him, which is not true. And he sadly walks away, which Lucia clocks. At the table of the 3 Italian men, Dom shows Albie this, I guess, a brooch.
I was trying to figure out what that was.
Something for his mom.
Yeah.
And some earrings for his sister. And Albie's like, you can't buy people off. And
Bert's like, it's perfect. She's going to love it. It's so funny. He's like, yes, this is what idiot women want after you cheat on them. I know. He's like, I have much experience with dumb
Bert's
women.
like, she respects me. And Dom's like, not in this area.
Yeah, obviously.
The only person she'd listen to is Albie, but whatever.
What an interesting moment. Albie, loved that Albie immediately was like, that's manipulative. He just fucking called it out immediately. He's like, this is so fucking manipulative.
Yeah, you probably want your family to stay together, don't you?
Oh my God. Like, Dom, be
If
embarrassed.
I were Albie, I'd be like, end of vacation with parents.
Oh my God. I was so, yeah, I would be so pissed. Our couples walk in and sit down, and they order more alcohol, even though they're both violently hungover. And Harper is just looking. Ethan is noticing that Harper is, something is way off.
They do such a good job of conveying that she is like freaking out. There's kind of like a buzzing that they do.
Oh.
Like she's just, it's like a very nice way of conveying that she's like completely out of it.
Yes, like she cannot.
But they kind of talk about last night and how Ethan was tearing up the dance floor. Ethan says he can't drink like that anymore. And he asks Harper if she's okay, and we just cut to waves.
She's not okay. She's
and it's
the
like,
ocean.
Remember, someone dies.
Oh,
Dark
yes.
ocean.
I love stuff. So good. We got to Lucia and Mia in talking about how Lucia's like, I don't want to be a millionaire. I just want to open my own store. And Mia's like, I don't even care about money. I just want to sing. And she comes up with a brilliant idea. You know what? I'm just going to fuck the piano player. And it's just easy peasy, gonna fuck him, all this
Great
stuff.
plan.
You told me to be practical. He would help me with my career. And yeah, she runs off to have sex with him. This scene, there is something I loved about this scene, and it was the servers walking in between them. Like every 10 or 15 seconds as someone's walking in front of them, which I thought was a really interesting direction choice, because it's just showing how they're so not in this, they're so not in this world that they keep even being they disappear for a second between each other because there's things going on. There's servers. I thought it was such a good cool direction, because I was like, wow. Cause yeah, it's clearly on purpose that they're having someone go out in front of her, because otherwise they just know, when you film, you just wouldn't. So yeah, I thought that was really cool and really added to their conversation. And then yeah, Lucia's like, I created a monster, which is so funny.
We cut back to Quentin and Tanya, and Quentin is saying, you should be, she's saying I've had all these bad decisions, and he's like, you should be the bad luck heroine of your own Italian opera. You're too fabulous to be sad. Your luck can change. And we see Lucia approaches Albie again and is like, your friend didn't come. And Albie's like, she came, but she's over there. Oh, so sad.
And Lucia's like, that's not nice. Can I have her chair? She sits down, and I was so happy. I was like, yay. I was like, yes, do small talk. Just start talking. I was very happy during this, because also I was like, Lucia seems like it seems like she actually likes him, right? Am I crazy?
I assume so.
Because she's just like,
I was under the impression Albie did not know she was a sex worker.
I think he doesn't know, right? Or does he know?
That's what I'm assuming.
I think he doesn't know.
I think we're meant to believe that he doesn't know.
Yes, you're right.
So yeah, she doesn't
yeah,
outwardly discuss it with him.
No, but she and she just talked about how she doesn't want to do that anymore. So I was like, maybe she actually likes him. It seems maybe she's like, I just want to talk to us. I don't know. It was I ship this. I will say, if this. We have Giuseppe.
Or they need a bed.
Yes. Giuseppe and Mia, or Mia's waiting for Giuseppe, and she's like, let's just do it now. Let's have sex, and then you'll help me. And he's like, okay. And he is so excited. He brings her into a chapel, which was, I laughed so hard. And she's like, you brought me to a church? You're crazy. And he's like, it's deconsecrated. don't worry, which I don't really know what that means. I'm like, what does that mean?
I don't know.
I honestly don't know. I went to Catholic school for
like it's not
so many
used
years.
for religion now?
I guess so. Maybe like some priest was just like, this is not holy anymore. I don't know. But
the fact that like she was at his piano and he knew a place to have sex with her within 30 seconds was astonishing.
Yeah, that's a really...
She's like, I'll have sex with you for my music career. Okay.
He's like, I thought about
Come
this.
to this church.
He's like, I know the perfect place. Also, she's saying like, ew, ew, ew. When he's like on top of her, I was like, oh no, this is so gross. And then he gets on top of her and she is now... but she did say, she's being very upfront, which I like. She's like, if you don't help me, I'll kill you. She's like, you are helping me. I am doing this and you are helping me. I was like, good. I was like, keep saying that.
Ooh, so maybe he'll die.
Exactly. She looks on the ceiling.
I love this. She sees the religious figure on the ceiling and you think she's going to stop and she just flips positions.
I know. It's like, she's like, wait, we can't do this. Okay, this is better. I just can't look at it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Beautiful mountain shots, transition, and we are back at the beach club, and Lucia and Albie are decide to go into the water. She's like, I have an idea. Like, do you want to go for a swim? Like, it's this crazy idea. It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah. That's one of the two things you do at a beach. And he looks up at Portia and
We haven't seen people in the water much, though.
I'm like, which is crazy. It's it's so beautiful. And it's probably, feels great. So they go off. We cut to Giuseppe and Mia having sex, and it's gross. And he then gets soft. And he's like, okay, let's just do it tomorrow. And she's like, nope, I'm not doing this again. We're getting this over with now. I'll get you Viagra.
She says, my friend has it. Watch some porn on your phone. She's like,
obsessed.
This was happening.
Obsessed with this whole storyline. The way this was all weaved and the comedy of errors of all this was really amazing. Yes. And then Lucia and Albie go down to the water. While Mia is rummaging through her stuff, Lucia's talking about they're in the water. They're like, oh, also they both have just amazing bodies, and gotta put that in there. I was like, this is
thank you.
As the resident correspondent, hot person correspondent, Mia runs up and is like, which pill is Viagra? Lucia's like, what? I don't know what you're saying. Amazing. No notes, chef's kiss, fantastic. Mike White, you're a god. Great.
Felt very realistic.
And she's just like, fuck it, whatever. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna pick one. And she picks a pill, gives it to him.
No, picks both.
Oh no, yeah, picks both. And then the interesting,
take both of these.
So insane. She was like, why is it men who always have the power? And if we didn't, pretty girls like you wouldn't get to skip to the front of the line, which made my head spin around. Which made me, I was like,
not good foreplay discussions.
No.
And she's like, I'm hardly at the front of the line. And I'm like, oh my God,
that
this
was
convo.
So interesting. Then we cut back to Tanya and her new friends. She's, having fun. Portia's having fun, partying, speaking French.
We cut back to our hot four, and Ethan is talking about how Jack Dorsey does barrel saunas and like his diet. Oh, this is where we hear the ringing ears part for Harper.
Oh, yes, love.
And Cameron says he wants a hyperbaric chamber to put in his house so he can live forever. But Daphne doesn't want to live forever because she never wants to be old.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'll love you even when you're old or whatever. You'll never look old to me, he says. She's like, oh, I'm like, oh my God. And then Harper just literally is a catatonic, gets up, doesn't say anything, and walks to the edge of the pier and just kind of looks out. I thought she was going to jump. I was like, is she... but we've lots. It's like this is a very slow sequence of her like walking down, and we have the waves crashing, and it's very cinematic. It's like she keeps having. It's very interesting because last episode she also had a very solo cinematic sequence, like with the guys and her alone, when all the guys were looking at her. And yeah, so I thought that was, I'm like, we're getting another one with Harper, and it was really, yeah. And then we do this like fade in, these transitions are wild. A fade into like bright sunlight white, and then it's sunlight, and we go to this like Joshua looking tree, and Giuseppe is not sure that it was Viagra, the pill that she gave him, because he is sweating and not doing really well. And she's like, okay, those people, tell me those people.
By the way, that shot where Harper is, I think it was my misogyniest moment.
Yes.
The shot where she is being leered at was a shot-by-shot remake of La Ventura with Monica Vitti, the actress that Jennifer Coolidge referenced wanting to be like.
So good.
Shot for shot.
Oh, I love that.
It's a 1960s Italian new wave.
Wow.
Film.
Yes.
Cool.
It's so incredible. I love that when I saw that, when you posted that on our social media. You should follow, speaking of, at HBO
Lax
Pod. We think
HBO Lax Pod. Yep. Go follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We're at HBO Lax. Anyway,
follow along.
Harper, we don't see what happens with her, whether she jumps in or not. We cut back to Giuseppe and Mia. Oh, you just said that. And Mia says, when are you going to intro me to the people that you said you would? And he says, I can't talk about it now. And he goes to the piano. And we cut to Ethan's room where Harper is staring at a couch. And he's like, what's going on? You've been acting like a zombie. Are you sick of the other couple? Harper's like, what happened yesterday? And he's like, jet skiing and drank too much. And Harper's like, who with? And he's like, each other and people at the bar. Harper, what other people? Random people, guys or girls, both. Why? And Cameron and Daphne knock on the door interrupting this. And
really good acting in this.
I'm like, I can't believe it doesn't get brought up this whole episode.
Oh, Lizzy, it drove me crazy.
It's tense.
I was like, please. I was like, just say it. Just ask him. Just tell him. Lizzy, I would, the second I saw the condom, I would tell my partner. I would be like, excuse me.
It's...
Right? I would not do this.
This is...
This self-restraint you have.
I mean, you're saying that you wouldn't like turn it into some sort of weird lying test?
I don't have the patience. I wish I was that cool and collected. I don't know. Like, I wish I was that, like, I could never do that. I don't have the emotional regulation to do that. That's crazy.
Harper, an emotionally regulated queen.
That's our takeaway. Oh my gosh.
And then we see this conversation between Tanya and Portia.
Oh wait, sorry.
At the
I just
dinner
wanted
table.
to mention that Harper.
Go.
When they answer the door, Harper's immediately like, okay, I'm ready. Hello, how are you? And she's like all smiley. And she's like, I love your outfit. And Daphne's like, thanks. Like, I couldn't fit into a couple months, the baby weight. And I'm like, oh my God. Very interesting that Harper is now flipping this. Like, Harper's like, okay, like, if you want to play a game, you're going to lie to me. I'm going to do the same thing and play a game like Daphne and Cameron do. And Ethan is not happy about it. Also, this is a great outfit that Daphne's wearing, but also an annoying line. Yes. Anyway, cut to Portia and Tanya.
We cut to this Portia-Tanya dinner table scene. Tanya's like, I love those guys. If you're looking for a friend, gay guys are the best. Women are kind of depressing. And Portia's like, you think? And Tanya's like, I think most women are drips, but it's not their fault. There's a lot to be depressed about. They're not fun. And this was my misogyniest moment of the week.
This was also my
like you said, it can come from the whims.
Mm-hmm. This was also my misogynist moment. Yeah, this was crazy. So such interesting talks this episode about how some of these women characters view female friends and view women.
Like, all of them. None of them seem to have a normal female friend.
And I think it is
I guess, like, we saw Portia on the phone with someone, but...
That's true. It seems like Portia... I feel like Portia probably has good female friends. I get that vibe. But, yeah, the fact that... Yeah, Tanya and Daphne, I think it is, you know, a reflection... It's definitely a commentary by the writer or by Mike White about their characters, and it's not a good thing. But it's also an interesting line to say it's not their fault. There's a lot of, like, reasons to be. So, this is very much a lot of Tanya's own shit, definitely. But yeah, what did you feel about this line? What did you think about it?
I don't know, that it's like a theme of all of the women this episode saying that women suck, and I'm just like, what? Like,
yeah.
All of them think this? I guess.
I think it's a sad reality.
It's not their fault. It's like, oh, it's because of the patriarchy, I guess.
Yeah. It's really frustrating, and it's a good example about how women can perpetuate sexism just as much as men, and can uphold the patriarchy. I guess we knew this, but like, yeah,
and
they uphold the patriarchy.
Do constantly at the voting booth.
Yes, it's true. And yeah, it's really, really interesting. How, especially like Tanya, also the fact that Tanya and Daphne are both in very different generations as well. They're both like saying like similar things, which I thought was really interesting. But yeah. This was a very misogynist moment, a lot of internalized misogyny. And we have our group of men come in, excited to have dinner. They're blowing kisses. Jack is like, "You missed me." And she's like, "Did you miss me?" Oh, my God. And he says, "I put on fresh underwear for you." And she's like, "Oh, did you shit your pants?" And he's like, "No, that was funny." And he said, "I'll model them for you later. Very sexy. This is very sexy talk."
And it does. Spoiler.
It was so great. And then we got to Giuseppe having struggling times with LOVE, with love. That
L is for the way you...
And Mia is like, "Fuck." And then Bert and Dom like notice, and and they're like, "Wow, he's gotten worse at singing." And then Albie comes up and says he has other dinner plans.
And they're proud. And Bert asks Dom if he's jealous. I am. I may never see a naked woman again, although I saw one today. The sex workers from your room were in my room.
Yeah.
And he says it was a nice surprise.
And Dom was like...
And suddenly Giuseppe, the piano man, collapses. And Mia screams to call an ambulance. Giuseppe says, "Call a priest." And Mia says, "Don't die."
She's like, "No."
And we literally see Cameron like looking at the scene and then talking to the host and being like, "For dinner."
So hilarious. That was, I laughed out loud. I was like, that was perfect.
Yes.
So well done. Oh,
so good.
And then we have a very uncomfortable scene with Valentina and Isabella. I did not like this scene. It was so uncomfortable, of Valentina giving her a present from her favorite store. Honestly, the thing that just hurts me, it's not the thing that makes me sad about this scene is not that it's like a power dynamic imbalance, which is problematic, but it's more just like Valentina is just so clearly lonely. It's like to see this change in Valentina, to see her now be all like sweet and like kind of with the crush, like breaks my heart, because we were introduced to her as this bitch, and it's kind of like, it's very comfortable. This is what Mike White is doing. It's very comfortable to be like, "Oh, okay, that's a mean person, that's a bitch. Like, I don't have to have feelings about this character." And now my heart is breaking apart for Valentina. I feel so sad, and I just want, honestly, I'm like, I hope she gets what she wants in this situation. I don't think she will, but my heart hurts.
I don't know. Her putting the starfish brooch on her was uncomfortable.
It was a bridge too far. And I know maybe I'm being a little, because if Valentina was a man, I would be like, absolutely not, this is wrong. But because Valentina's a woman, I'm being a little more like, oh, I feel bad. I don't know. Maybe I would also feel bad if it was, but yeah, it's uncomfortable. And I'm not excited about more of this storyline. I will say it's making me feel.
I'm scared.
It makes me feel scared,
I'm scared.
too. We have the ambulance come in with a stretcher, and then
Valentina, they're dragging him off, and Valentina yells, "Think good thoughts. Think of something beautiful."
That was so funny. So funny. And Mia asks her if she can fill in for the singer, and Valentina's like, "What? No." Jesus Christ. This is not the time.
Mia should have waited a little bit
longer. Jesus. Lucia comes in, and this is such a good girl. Oh, this just made me think of this is so much talk about how female friendships like blah 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 are bad, and we have such a good example.
We do see a female friendship,
a beautiful female. And to counter this, because they do such a girl thing where they're like hi blah blah, blah and they're talking to each other, and then they're talking literally about a guy's death, and they go, oh wait, you look beautiful. You look beautiful. Like they like take a second, like a guy who might be dying, and they like Mia's like, wait, you look great. That is the most girl thing ever, and I love it.
That's so funny. I can't believe I didn't even think of them when I was thinking about
no, I didn't.
The female
I didn't
friendships
either.
on the show.
I told not until we got to this part where I was like, oh right, it's like the counterbalance. It's like actually, but it's a good counter to like the women in this. A lot of women in this episode being shitty about women.
I wish we got a little bit more of their backstory because I feel like we have more of an idea of other people's, and theirs. I'm like,
that's a good point.
Mia was in love with some guy.
That's a really good point. I would love to know more about their backstory. Let's get a prequel.
We get Mia explaining the heart attack, Viagra, Molly situation, and then Albie comes over, and Lucia's like, let's get a drink. This is my friend Mia, and Albie gets them drinks, and Bert points out to Dom that Albie is with the sex workers now. Oh God, this maybe should have been my eat the rich moment. We cut back to the sexy foursome, and Daphne tells this story about her friend that has a son with autism, and she ran a 10K to raise money, and then a guy next to her died.
What was so interesting was her starting off the conversation with my really close girlfriend. So a complete
That's so funny.
Made my brain explode. I was like, wow, that's so good. She's like, my really close girlfriend. Just complete denial of the thing she just said to Harper. And because it's Daphne putting back on her, she like takes off her mask, she puts back on her mask. And it's really interesting to see like when she does that. Really crazy, bizarre Eat the Rich story. Tanya is thanking Quentin for just like, distracting her and being so friendly. And they are like, you have to come to Palermo, and we're going on this party, and there's going to be maybe a well-hung Italian stud. And and she's like, oh, I'm married. And they're like, we won't tell. Lots of cheating vibes. And she's like, yes, I will. And I was like, we knew.
And they walk by the piano. I mean, another Eat the Rich moment. We see Quentin. Tanya says, I hope he's not dead. And Quentin says, hopefully they'll find a better one.
I was like, oh,
piano player.
That hurts. And then
Jack grabs Portia, brings her to the bar, and orders dose Jägermeisters and dose Red Bulls.
And Portia's like, I would like gin and tonic, which was so funny. He's like, okay. And then Portia realizes she's right across from Albie and the girls. And Albie's sweet, innocent face in this whole scene is like so cute. Albie is so cute. And so they are... so we realize they're in this kind of awkward situation. We cut to Bert and Dom going into the hallway, go into bed. And then we cut back to Portia and Jack. And she's like, I feel bad. We should leave. I don't want to make him jealous. And then Jack's like, he seems like he's doing fine. Like, he has like hot girl. He's talking to a really hot girl. And then Albie looks over and he sees Portia and Jack kissing, and he's like, gets sad. He's like, I'm gonna go. And then the hero of the episode, Lucia, is like, don't let them win, and she kisses him.
Don't let her win.
And they kiss, and then Portia sees them kiss, and she's like, a plot twist.
I once went on a date, and someone I had been on a date with was seated across the bar from me on another date.
Lizzy, that's so funny.
It was all I was thinking about the whole time.
I'm sure I was also all he was thinking about.
It was horrible.
Wow, that is wild. That is the most dating in LA or any city story. Oh my gosh, I love that. But yeah, very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then Portia drags Jack to her room. In Dom's room, we see he's on YouPorn. We see Daphne and Cameron cuddling in their room.
I missed you.
I guess
kissing.
just pretending like nothing has happened.
Okay, sorry.
We cut to Harper.
I will say, because I said earlier in this podcast episode, I said they are fake to each other. But this moment didn't seem very fake. It seemed very real. So maybe they do. Maybe there's...
Yeah, maybe you should edit it out from earlier.
All of a sudden, I'm just edited out of the whole podcast episode. It's just you talking. This is what's going to be one episode.
All of the lines are franken bitten together.
Exactly. Like,
it's all these like theories Katherine has in post.
Oh my gosh, Frankenbiting. But yeah, their relationship is so interesting to me because I believe that they enjoy cuddling together. I believe that they liked kissing each other and love each other. Like that's what's so interesting. But they also fuck with each other and cheat on each other, and it's that's the complexities of the human experience, man. Very interesting. It reminds me of open relationships.
The human experience,
like because I saw some YouTube thing about open relationship, and I was like, oh. And it made me think about it because I've never been in one and I don't think I ever would, but it is an interesting mindset you have to be in because I had a friend that was like testing it out, and it's such an interesting thought process and deconstructing of what jealousy is, which I think is interesting and could be, but also my nightmare. Anyway, also I'm trying to be open-minded, but also my nightmare. Then we got to,
I remember reading something about like someone who was a proponent for it and was like, 50% of marriages have infidelity already, so might as well,
yeah,
be upfront. Or 50% of marriages are already polyamorous. The people just don't know about it.
Oh, that's fascinating. What a good. Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah. That's so smart. Oof, yeah, that's a good point. We cut to Harper getting ready and puts the condom wrapper on the bathroom. And I thought we were finally going to get the moment, but we didn't, Lizzy. We did not get the moment yet.
No, she's just taking it out, swirling it around in our faces.
Exactly. She goes back to the bed and she asks him one more fucking time, what happened last night? And he's like, what are you worried about? Nothing. Oh, and then he said, he gives an inch. She's like, oh, yeah, he asked me to invest in the company. And
you were right, honey. Aren't you happy now?
Gosh, you must be so happy.
And she's like, that's it. She doesn't even care about her accurate prediction now.
Exactly.
That's how you know she's upset.
Exactly. And that's how he must know something's up when she doesn't react to that. Like that must really fuck with him because he's like, oh, fuck, she doesn't.
He seems to realize it when he like goes back in the room later.
Yes.
We cut to Portia's room. And Nipplejack emerges in his aforementioned sexy underwear, and they are weed leaf underwear, and Portia spanks him.
Hot. This was so hot. This was my horniest moment. I'll say it. This was my horniest moment. This was the female gaze. This was extremely attractive. Mike White, you did a great job. And these actors did too. But also...
Mine comes right after this when we cut to Albie's room, and Lucia is S'ing his D, and he says, OMG, I'm gonna come. Can I come? I'm gonna come. I'm coming. And Albie's Revenge Beach by Lucia was my horniest moment of the week.
Oh my gosh. Lizzy, that was very horny. And his face afterwards just...
Look, those, if I'm being real, they were tied.
Honestly,
like,
and also, we can see them as one
the
horny
spanking
moment, you know? Because they really happen one after the other. They're basically the same storyline.
Yes.
It is our collective horny moment of the week. It was too hot. Guys, I agree. This was a great episode for the ladies, and for people who enjoy men having sex. This was so fun. And also just like, it makes me really excited for next week's episode too. I'm not only is this great, but also the Albie Lucia dynamic. I'm fascinated by it. I cannot wait.
Wait, so...
Oh, yes.
Okay, just right before that, we see Albie fall down out of breath underneath this nude painting as Lucia sneaks off into the bathroom like a little wood nymph. And I did not watch the promo. I think I was too excited to podcast, and I clicked right off. It
was great. What happened? Love that. So it's basically like next time on the rest of the season of White. It wasn't like the next one. It's like the rest of the White Lotus.
Oh, gotcha.
We have shots of... We have Quentin saying a world without beauty is a world I don't want to live in. And then we see the couple at like a winery where they're going to be in a winery. And it's like, Quentin's like, I would die for beauty, wouldn't you? And, we have shots of a policeman.
I'd die for beauty.
Yeah. Then with that, we have a shot of a policeman and a boat in the water. And, yeah, in the weeks ahead of White Lotus, Harper's like, I think something happened when we were in Noto. So she's saying it to Daphne. And Daphne was like, if anything ever did happen, do what you have to do to make yourself feel better about it. And then it's a shot of Harper and Cameron looking at each other. And then Ethan looking off into the distance. And then Dom is like, I'm trying to smooth things over.
She's not even going to ask Ethan before she bangs Cameron? Are you kidding me?
I know, that's what I was thinking too.
That's a farce.
I know.
There's your farce right there.
Your farce. Dom is like, I want to make things up. Wait 1 second.
Do you think we're going to see Dom's wife?
Oh, I don't know.
Like she's going to come in. Remember how Molly Shannon flew in, right, who was like the main white asshole dude's mom?
Yes, right. Maybe Lizzy, that would be amazing.
I wonder.
Oh my God, I hope so.
But I'm thinking that we won't because it was that famous lady.
Oh yeah, it was. Well, who knows? Maybe they got her for a day, flew her out to Sicily. I don't know. But maybe. Dom says, "I'm trying to smooth things over with Albie and everyone. Hey guys, this is Lucia, and it's Lucia meeting Dom for the first time, quote unquote." And so they're all hanging out. So Albie and Lucia are gonna hang out with them, and then and then we have a line of Ethan saying to Cameron, "I know what you're doing, man. If someone with higher status than you wants something, you want it too." And then it's like Ethan's distressed. He's looking to the distance. It's I paused a lot of these shots. It's a Harper and Cameron kind of flirting in the distance that Ethan's looking at, and Ethan's like kind of going a little crazy, and then Tanya says this line, "When you're empty inside," and then then it's another shot of Daphne and Ethan like walking alone together. So I don't know, and then the voiceover is
everyone's gonna hook up,
and you have no direction. You'll end up in some crazy places, Tanya says. And she's like in this beautiful house. And then Portia's like, I think something bad is happening. And then it seems like Jack gets into a fight with someone. And then we have lots of quick shots of things. And then, yeah. Oh, and then at the end, Tanya says, and then
good promo dissection, Katherine.
And then it goes dark, and then it goes, this is so funny, because then it's like a little clip of Tanya saying, sometimes I think I should have started that spa for poor women with that woman in Maui. Maybe she put a curse on me. And it was so funny. It was so funny.
I mean, the fact that she remembers that makes me think some of her obliviousness is not oblivious.
Yes. that's what's so interesting about Tanya. Anyway, guys, thank you. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you for sticking with us. Long ep.
And also I realized, I'm like, did I talk I'm like, I think I talked way longer than usual. But you know what? I control the edit. So maybe by the time you listen to it, I won't have talked as much.
You as one of my best friends, my bestie, Katherine, you're perfect, and you could never talk too much.
Thank you. This is females friendship.
I love podcasting with you.
I love podcasting
this
with you.
Is female friendship.
You are amazing, and
women aren't
satanic hags or whatever that episode implied.
For the most part.
We can.
I mean, what is there? One female serial killer?
Exactly.
Come on.
That's what I'm saying. And what Elizabeth Holmes, she's going to jail. So women, look.
And women suck?
Okay.
I think that's right.
I think yes. I mean, sound off in the comments if you think women suck. Wouldn't that be the worst thing to say for the internet? No.
Sound off in the comments if you think women suck. I think a lot of people didn't need that prompt.
They really don't. That's why it's funny.
They really just sound all the time.
So guys, you know what's interesting? Have you guys ever thought about ways women are bad? Let's discuss on the internet.
Let's think about it.
Safe
How about like female politicians?
Yeah. Wow. Or like a celebrity or a director.
Pasadena.
Yes.
Anyway,
guys, I have so many controversies.
Great show.
Great show.
We'll be back next week for the 5th episode, which will be the third to last.
Thank you for sticking with us and being with us and listening and telling your friends and for leaving us such lovely messages.
Tell a friend. Rate us 5 stars.
And
follow us.
We appreciate you. And what's the thing we say?
Allora.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.